Old guy jamming here. The little bit of the intro, a little bit of the new Jackson Slime Green. Still getting used to it a little bit. The string spread is a little wider than some of my other guitars, but dang, if it's not a fun guitar, and I don't think there's any guitar out there that gives you better access to the top frets. There might be, but the neck back there, the neck through one piece is all just so sexy. It's pretty cool, and it's slime green, and they don't make it anymore, so it's hopefully going to keep its value. It's a nice guitar. I already dropped it. Fell right off my guitar stand. I'm reorganizing because I'm reorganizing, and I hit it with my cab and knocked it right on. I barely caught it with my toe, but it slammed. It slammed pretty good, but no problem. It's fine. Anyway, follow up to Chapman Guitars and why I don't think I'll ever get one. A lot of people misunderstood me. A lot of people have written in, some with angst, and a lot of people in support of my same views or similar views to my views, and that he's overly copied just all sorts of stuff out there. And but a lot of people misunderstood. I don't have it out for the guy. I really respect Chappers. Anybody that can build a channel like that and build a guitar company and be as successful as he has been, weathering the storms of family life as well, is top in my book. I just used to want one, and I don't anymore because there's nothing unique about the brand anymore to me, in my opinion. Like this Slime Green. That's a pretty unique guitar. You say Slime Green Jackson and everybody knows exactly what you're talking about. So just a couple of follow-up things. Like I said, I used to want one. Then after the HP 42 video, which I was lucky enough to see, I saw the whole thing. After that, and then Michael Knight, there I go again, Michael Knight. Philip McKnight did a review of a Ghost Fret, and he was very kind in that review. There was a lot of finish flaws, and it didn't sound good overall. I didn't think it sounded good in that review. After that, and then Chapman's also given his guitars to the beard guy, Gruff and Beards. He's given guitars to Jared Dines. He's given guitars to quite a few of the famous YouTubers, and they may have done a video on the guitar, but do you ever see any of them playing the guitars again? I don't. So there's that as well. And then HP's reply video, rebuttal to his first video, and he talked about the mic, and I responded to that just a couple of weeks ago and said, what does a boom mic have to do with bent knobs, inability to stay in tune, band agitation, pickup selector switch that doesn't work, etc., etc. And he responded, correct, as if to say, yeah, you're right. But I don't have it out for the guy. If you want to buy a Chapman guitar, go ahead. But I recently went to Guitar Center just about 3 weeks ago, and they had a few Chapman guitars on display. So I picked one up, and I almost reflexively dropped it because the frets were so long and so sharp that it would not have been, you wouldn't have been able to play it without having a fret job done, having all those frets trimmed and rounded off. It was terrible. And I mentioned it to the Guitar Center employee came by and said, "Oh, Chapman, yeah." And I said, "Dude, have you checked out these frets? It's terrible." And he says, "Well, that one must have been made on a machine." Yeah, yeah, like 98% of your guitars in here. Anyway, so then I picked up another one, and it was better. All right, it was better, and I picked up another one, and it was pretty nice. So it's in the version 2 of the guitars is nice, but the one I picked up was the first one I picked up was really bad, worst fret job I've ever felt. So that that you got to put that in the stowage of things you think about. And then I looked at it, and they are pretty guitars, but and then the neck connection, and it was a $500 to $600 range guitar upwards, and then the next one was like a $700 guitar, and they progressively got better. And you can tell without even plugging in, you can tell you get a really good feel for if a guitar is going to if it's set up nicely, if it's a solid guitar. It's not too hard to tell, right? Pretty quick. I got it to the $700 range, and that was pretty nice too. But I looked at the back, and the neck hookup is just about identical to the Charvel series. And then I picked up an $800 Charvel with a caramelized neck, and it was, so now we're in the same price range, and it was so much better fit and form, felt so much better that I would just recommend to anybody. I would recommend if you're thinking about a Chapman, for sure, don't buy one without playing it. It may need some major work. And if you're only $100 away from a San Dimas with Duncans in it, I would say, get the San Dimas. Which, takes me to another thing. That green Charvel right there, bought off Reverb, but it's loaded with Seymour Duncans, so I knew I was going to have a really quality pickup, and I wasn't going to have issues with the tone. It's got a JB at the bridge and the Seymour Duncan single coil at the neck, and I know those are going to be really well matched, and they're going to provide really great tones. And when you roll off the volume, there's still going to be a quality sound there as the tone cleans up. You're not going to lose a lot of it. It's just going to clean up without dropping a lot of the volume. So all that stuff is worth considering. But yeah, they're pretty guitars, and if you want to support Chappers, then go for it. And then there was some of the responses, like from Slovak 946 or something like that, Slovak guy. He got on my case because he says, well, why is it okay for ESP to copy Gibson's Les Paul with their EC line, and yet you don't think it's okay for Chappers to copy everybody else? And then some other guy earlier said the same thing about Fender. Well, Fender does the same thing, and Fender does not do the same thing. I don't think Fender's ever produced a V. Fender's never produced a Gibson body style. Fender's, I don't think, ever produced anything really other than their Jaguar, their Strat, and their Telecaster. There might be some odd ducks in there somewhere, but they don't have an SG, a Flying V, stuff like that. All right? So the EC, is the EC as ridiculous a copy of the Gibson? No, it's not. If you look at the two guitars, for one, from 40 feet away, I would be able to tell you which is the EC and which is the Les Paul. Les Paul has a pick guard, usually. The EC does not. The Les Paul has a little donut around the pickup selector. The EC does not. The Les Paul usually has covered pickups. The EC lots of times comes with EMGs or humbuckers, not as often with a covered pickup. The Gibson also has 4 knobs, 2 volume, 2 tone. The EC has 3 knobs. All right, so we're already up to a whole bunch of things that are different. The cutout is different enough that one's an EC and one's a Gibson. And then if you look at the back joint on the higher end ECs, it is much cooler than the set neck on the Gibson Les Paul. Much cooler. It's got a lot of feng shui in there and some cool cutouts to give you better access to the frets. So I don't even think that's a good comparison. All right. And to help make my point, I'm going to show you this right here. Let's take a look at a Chapman Telecaster ML3 Pro Traditional. All right. That is nothing but a Telecaster. There is nothing different except this little tiny cutout right here. There is absolutely nothing different between that and a Telecaster. The same ashtray style bridge. Saddles are at least not the bent saddle type, bent metal type. But even here, they look like they're going all over the place. And the strings don't line up over the poles. They do here, here, here until you get here. Those bottom 4 strings start to be misaligned. And it's a blatant, I think it's just a blatant copy of Telecaster. All right, there's nothing new or different about it. And even in the upper models, he copies a lot of the things from previous guitars like Charvel. And it's just not my bag. Unlike this. And another thing I was thinking about, I'm starting to really love the 22 fret guitars. Love them. Don't need 24 frets. Well, unless you have one. I mean, you need one or two guitars with 24. But the 22 fret guitars have so much more squawk, so much more tonal variety, and they're a little shorter. It's just really a whole lot of fun to play. So I was asking my buddy at Sweetwater, hey, you know what I'd really like is a neck-through 22 fret guitar. Neck-through joint, and he couldn't think of any. He looked around, and he couldn't find one, but I found one. And from All-in-One Guitar, and if you guys go out and buy the last of this thing, I'm going to be upset because check this thing out. Now, you want to see some innovation. I hope you can see this without a whole lot of glare on it. This is an alder, walnut, and maple Telecaster type copy. But notice there isn't a metal plate here. It's just knob, and switch. So that's different. Check out these great saddles. The screw goes into the stem of the barrel, and the barrel is round, and the height screws go all the way down through the barrel, and the string goes all the way back here so that your break angle is going to be very consistent and not too sharp, nice and mellow, and then it's string through for sure. But I mean, this thing's made of 3 different pieces of pieces of wood. Look at that. And it's 22 frets, neck through, carved out in the back. It's absolutely gorgeous. Neck goes all the way through up to the tuners, which I don't know what they are, but I'm sure they're good. This is a Wolf guitar. And another really cute thing, let me get you to look at this. Look at that. Walnut, maple, ash, and some ebony on the front. I mean, that is really gorgeous. And it's only $4.99, and it has free shipping in the US. And you get 14 days to try it, and then you can return it. But you do have to pay for return shipping. But that thing is smoking hot. I love it. And it comes with, here's the front, Wolf abalone inlay, real nice. And look, the inlays are little paws, even the little claw on the paw. It's not just a paw, but there's a little claw, which is great. I mean, that's cool, you know. And that's $4.99, and you get 2 weeks to check it out. Bone, let's see, I'm not sure if that's a bone nut, but it's pretty nice, a pointed guitar. Body piece, Tele style, right? 6 strings, ash, walnut, maple, natural stain. Neck is walnut, and all those with the multiple piece neck. So it's going to be really nice and stable. The only thing that concerns me is the 20 radius is going to be really flat. The fingerboard, ebony, which would be nice. I don't have any ebony yet. Inlays are wolf paws, 22 frets, 25/5 scale length. Nut width 1 5/8. I like. Nut is bone, so I was right. It's bone. Rotomatic Grover tuners, so nice tuners. 14-1. Truss rod for sure. Pickup, single, one volume, one tone, pickup selector. 7.5, well, 7 to 8 pounds. $4.99. And that is stinking unique, man. That is so gorgeous. Look at that thing. I just think that's beautiful. That, I think, is worth paying a bunch of money for. Not, I mean, if you want that, why don't you go ahead and get a Telecaster? Anyway, so just, not a big deal. You do what you want. You do what you want. Do what you want. But not everybody has copied everybody else as vehemently as Chappers has. And I hear the version 2s are real nice. A lot of people have written in. They like the Norseman a lot, but they're pricey. I think you pay a lot more for Chapman Guitars. I think you're paying a lot for the brand compared to other things that are really nice. And then, like I said, that going down the rabbit hole of tone is serious business. We should have a chat on that someday. But this was such a safe buy because Charvel for one and Seymour Duncan's for two. Love this guitar. One volume, no tone, three-way selector, 22 frets. It's as fun as it gets. Locking tuners, stays in tune really well. It's just as much fun as it gets. And then, so that's it, okay? I don't have it out for Chappers. I think he's great, but I don't want his guitars anymore. Plain and simple. I think he's flooded the market with hood ornaments, and I think he would have been a lot better off if he had stuck with a really nice, unique line of guitars and not proliferated them throughout the universe, because you know they're not going to hold their value with that many guitars out there. Also, somebody told me Riff City was offering free return shipping. Buy a guitar, we'll send it to you free. If you don't like it, we'll take it back for free. Guitar Center. I've gotten 2 catalogs from Guitar Center recently. Neither one is advertising the Chapman guitars, and they're carrying them now. And then plus my own experience with one. Super sharp frets. All right. So, and anytime you like a riff I'm playing, it's absolutely free. Don't worry about any kind of copyright issues. If you want it, it's yours. I don't understand why people are so upset about the copyright deal. It seems like if you're making money off somebody else's efforts or songs, maybe you should have to do something about it. It doesn't seem like, I don't understand the issue, and I'm not going to pretend that I do, but Leapfrog Studios, that guy, his whole shtick is making metal copies of very well-known songs, and I haven't seen him complaining about the copyright issues, so maybe he has a special license or he's done something to allow him to utilize that. And if that's all it takes, then all these other people that are complaining about it, why don't you just do the same thing? Or don't play copies. Play your own stuff, and you'll never have to worry about it. But, otherwise, the rules are what they are, so I feel like, shut up, quit your whining. I don't know. All right, Old Guy Jammin' is out. Enjoy. More stuff coming. We'll see you next time. Oh, and please subscribe. It'd be great. Appreciate it. Ciao.